Ladies and gentlemen, the path to success is not always a crowded highway full of distractions and noise. In fact, often the greatest success comes from walking a path less traveled, one where you decide to do it alone. Not because you are better than anyone, but because you understand that your destiny is yours and yours alone to shape. You see, there's a difference between being independent and being isolated. Being independent means having the confidence to trust your own judgment, to rely on your abilities, to make your decisions based on what's best for you, not what's easiest or most convenient for others. When you choose to do it alone, you might encounter moments of doubt, loneliness, and struggle. But in those moments, you must remember that growth happens in solitude. The greatest leaders, the trailblazers, the ones who carve out their own path, they all had to step away from the crowd. They had to make decisions that others wouldn't or couldn't. They had to say no when others said yes, and yes when others said no. In the end, your greatest strength is your ability to depend on yourself. If you wait for others to help you, you'll never get ahead. If you wait for the perfect circumstances, the right people, or the ideal timing, you'll be waiting forever. The best time to start is now, and sometimes the only way to truly move forward is to do it alone. Success is not a team sport. It's a solo journey where the only competition is yourself. So are you willing to do what it takes? To push beyond the doubt, the fear, and the uncertainty? Are you willing to stand alone when necessary? Remember, if you want to achieve greatness, there will be times you must walk alone. But those are the moments that will define you. Those are the moments that will make you stronger, wiser, and more capable of reaching your highest potential. So when the going gets tough, keep moving. Do it alone. Don't wait for others to make it happen for you. You are the one who must take the initiative and take action. By trusting your own judgment and relying on your abilities, you unlock the power to create your own future. Don't depend on others for motivation or validation. Your success comes from within, from your own commitment. It's in those quiet, lonely moments that you discover what you're truly made of. Solitude is where your ideas are born. Following the crowd is easy. Leading yourself is hard. If you want to achieve greatness, you must be willing to walk your own path. Success requires tough choices. You will need to say no to distractions, even when others are saying yes. Waiting for the right people or circumstances is a trap. You create your opportunities by taking action no matter the situation. Don't be afraid to fail. Learn from your mistakes and keep pushing forward. The most successful people are those who keep going after setbacks. Every challenge you face alone will strengthen you. Don't run from challenges, use them to build your resilience. If you want success, take ownership. Your future is shaped by what you do today, not tomorrow. Your success is entirely your responsibility. It's not up to anyone else to make it happen for you, and it's certainly not up to fate. You can't blame your circumstances, the economy, or the people around you. It starts and ends with you. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll realize the incredible power you have to shape your life. You see, the world doesn't owe you anything. Opportunities aren't just going to fall into your lap because you think you deserve them. No, success is earned. And it's earned by taking responsibility for your choices, your actions, and your results. If things aren't working out the way you want, don't point the finger at anyone else. Look in the mirror, because that's the only person who truly has the power to change the situation. It's easy to sit back and make excuses, blame a bad job, bad luck, or bad timing, but excuses don't lead to results. You have to take ownership of your life. That means you control your time, your energy, and your mindset. If you want to be successful, it's up to you to develop the habits, the discipline, and the persistence to reach your goals. Taking responsibility doesn't mean taking the weight of the world on your shoulders. It means understanding that every action you take, every choice you make leads you either closer to your dreams or further away from them. If you're serious about succeeding, you must make the decision to take full ownership of your path and your progress. And that begins with the simple acknowledgement that your success and your failure are both in your hands. When you accept that success is your responsibility, you stop waiting for the perfect conditions, the right person, or the perfect moment. You start acting now with what you have. You stop letting life happen to you and start making life happen for you. And that's when everything begins to change. Independence fuels progress because it places you in control of your own destiny. When you rely on yourself, you unlock a power that no one can take away. Too many people make the mistake of waiting for permission, waiting for others to tell them it's time to move forward. But that kind of waiting will keep you stuck in place. To move forward, you must rely on your own judgment, your own decisions, and your own ability to act. You see, when you depend on others, you hand over control. You place your future in someone else's hands, and that's never a good position to be in. If you wait for the approval of others, or wait for things to be perfect, you'll never make any progress. The truth is, the world doesn't care about your excuses or your waiting game. The world rewards action, decisiveness, and the courage to move forward on your own terms. Independence doesn't mean isolation or doing everything alone. It means making decisions for yourself, setting your own course, and staying true to your own vision. It's about trusting your instincts and following your passion, even when no one else believes in it. When you learn to trust yourself, you stop looking for validation from others. You know that your progress depends on your actions, not on the opinions of others. Moreover, independence empowers you to take full responsibility for your successes and failures. When you are independent, you understand that the outcome is a reflection of your efforts, not the circumstances or the people around you. That kind of clarity is what propels you forward. The moment you stop relying on others is the moment you begin to move ahead. Your progress becomes unstoppable because you are no longer waiting for someone else's approval or permission. You are free to follow your own path, make your own decisions, and correct course when necessary. In the end, the most successful people are those who make the decision to trust their own judgment, take responsibility for their actions, and never wait for someone else to give them the green light. They don't need anyone else to fuel their progress. They are driven by their own independence and their ability to make things happen for themselves. When you embrace that kind of independence, you free yourself to reach levels of success that you never thought possible. Learn to be self-reliant because no one is coming to save you, and no one is going to do the work for you. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you'll start taking control of your life. Self-reliance is not just about doing things on your own. It's about developing the confidence to trust yourself, your abilities, and your judgment. It's about not waiting for someone to tell you what to do, but instead taking the initiative to figure it out yourself. When you become self-reliant, you stop depending on others for motivation, answers, or validation. You realize that all the resources you need are already within you. The best way to move forward is to trust that you can find solutions, face challenges, and overcome obstacles without relying on others to bail you out. In fact, relying on others too much only weakens your resolve. It teaches you to wait for things to happen instead of making things happen yourself. Being self-reliant means taking full responsibility for your actions and decisions. If you fail, it's on you to learn from that failure. Pick yourself up and keep going. If you succeed, you also take full ownership of that success, knowing it's the result of your hard work and determination. The truth is, the only person who has the power to shape your future is you. So why would you ever give that power to someone else? Self-reliance also means developing the skills and discipline to be productive without needing constant supervision or direction. Whether it's in your career, your personal life, or your health, being self-reliant means you don't wait for others to tell you what's important. You make the decision to prioritize what matters most and take action. It's the ability to look at a situation, assess it, and figure out a way to handle it without waiting for permission or external approval. There will be times when you will face challenges alone, when the road seems tough, and it feels like no one else understands. But in those moments, you'll find that self-reliance is your greatest strength. It's in these moments that you truly grow because you realize that you don't need anyone to tell you what you're capable of. You already know. The ability to rely on yourself gives you the confidence to push forward, even when the world seems uncertain. Ultimately, self-reliance is about taking full ownership of your life, knowing that the key to success lies in your own hands. You have the power to create the life you want, but only if you're willing to take responsibility for your actions and trust yourself to do what it takes to make it happen. The moment you make that decision, you'll see just how much you're capable of. Embrace solitude for growth, because it's in those quiet, often uncomfortable moments alone that you discover who you really are and what you're truly capable of. Solitude isn't about being lonely, it's about giving yourself the space to think, reflect, and grow without distractions. The world is full of noise people, opinions, and constant activity. But growth doesn't happen in the noise, it happens in the silence, when you can hear your own thoughts, focus on your goals, and evaluate your progress. The truth is, in the busyness of life, it's easy to get caught up in what others are doing and lose track of what's important to you. But when you embrace solitude, you have the opportunity to take a step back and really think about your life and your future. You can't build a meaningful life by constantly reacting to the demands of the outside world. You need time alone to listen to your inner voice, to set your own direction, and to make decisions based on what's best for you, not what others think is best. Solitude is also where you'll find the clarity to make better decisions. When you're constantly surrounded by people and distractions, It's hard to hear your own instincts, but when you take time to be alone, you'll be able to sift through the noise and make clearer, more confident decisions. You'll stop second-guessing yourself and start trusting your judgment. The more time you spend in solitude, the stronger your intuition will become, and the more you'll realize that you don't need others to validate your choices. Another reason to embrace solitude is that it gives you the opportunity to grow emotionally and mentally. It's easy to blame others for your problems or to look for answers outside of yourself. But when you're alone, you're forced to confront your own thoughts and feelings. You'll discover where your fears and weaknesses lie, and you'll have the space to work through them. Solitude forces you to become self-aware, and self-awareness is the key to personal growth. Furthermore, solitude helps you develop discipline and focus. In a world that's full of distractions, it takes effort to stay on track with your goals. But when you're alone, you can block out the noise and put your energy into what matters most. You learn to prioritize your time, to say no to the things that don't align with your vision, and to stay committed to your purpose. Solitude helps you build the mental toughness necessary to stay focused on what's important. Finally, it's in solitude that you realize you don't need to depend on others to feel fulfilled. You stop relying on external validation or approval to feel good about yourself. Instead, you find your worth in your own efforts, your own growth, and your own accomplishments. When you learn to be content with your own company, you become more resilient and independent. You no longer need others to make you feel whole. In the end, embracing solitude is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. It's in those moments alone that you discover your true potential, find your purpose, and strengthen your resolve. Don't be afraid of being alone, embrace it, because it's in that solitude that you'll find the strength to become the person you were always meant to be. Step away from the crowd, because following the masses rarely leads to anything extraordinary. The crowd is comfortable, it's predictable, it's full of people who follow the same patterns, think the same way, and take the same actions. But comfort and predictability won't get you where you want to go. If you want something different, something better, you've got to be willing to separate yourself from the herd and chart your own course. The crowd will tell you that you need to conform, that you need to fit in, that you need to follow the rules. But true success is not about blending in, it's about standing out. It's about making decisions that others might not understand, taking risks that others aren't willing to take, and doing things that challenge the status quo. If you always follow the crowd, you'll end up exactly where everyone else is. And trust me, you don't want to end up there. When you step away from the crowd, you give yourself the chance to think for yourself. You stop following someone else's path and start creating your own. The crowd doesn't have your vision, your goals, or your dreams. They have their own, and they might be perfectly content living their life, but that's not what you're after. You want something more. You want to be the one who decides where you go, when you go, and how you get there. And to do that, you have to stop relying on the approval or opinions of others. Most people live their lives based on what they've been told is normal or acceptable. They live in a box, bound by the expectations of the crowd. But to achieve something extraordinary, you must break free of that box. You must be willing to challenge the conventional thinking, question the rules, and walk a different path. It won't always be easy. In fact, it's often lonely at first. But stepping away from the crowd gives you the freedom to think, create, and pursue your own vision without the constant noise and pressure from others. Stepping away from the crowd is also an act of courage. It's easy to do what everyone else is doing because it's safe. It's harder to make bold decisions and go in a direction that others might not understand. But courage is what separates the people who make history from the ones who follow it. When you step away from the crowd, you put yourself in a position to create something unique, something that has your mark on it, something that reflects your true potential. Don't be afraid to step away from the crowd when the time comes. It's not about being rebellious for the sake of it, it's about being true to yourself. It's about understanding that in order to grow, to reach your full potential, and to achieve what others might deem impossible, you've got to be willing to stand apart. You've got to be willing to make the tough calls, to walk the path less traveled, and to go against the grain when necessary. When you step away from the crowd, you stop being a passive observer in your own life. You stop waiting for someone else to give you permission or lead the way. You become the architect of your future. You take ownership of your decisions, your mistakes, and your success. And as you do, you'll find that it's in stepping away from the crowd that you find your true power and unlock your potential for greatness. Make hard decisions, because the ability to make tough calls is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who stay stuck. Life isn't always about taking the easy road. In fact, it's often the hardest decisions that lead to the most significant growth. The easy way might feel good in the moment, but it's the difficult choices that push you to evolve, to build strength, and to get closer to the life you really want. Too many people avoid making tough decisions because they're afraid of the consequences, the discomfort, or the uncertainty. But in avoiding hard decisions, you delay your progress. You avoid facing the truth and confronting what needs to change. But the truth is, growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you step outside your comfort zone and make the decision to move forward, even when you don't have all the answers. Making hard decisions means choosing what's best for your future, even when it means saying no to short-term pleasures, avoiding distractions, or cutting ties with people who no longer serve your goals. It means doing what's necessary, not what's easy. The hard decisions are the ones that often require sacrifice, effort, and discipline. But in the long run, they're the ones that pay off the most. Consider the consequences of not making a decision. If you choose to avoid making a tough call, you're choosing to stay where you are, stagnant and stuck. You might convince yourself that you're waiting for the right time, or that circumstances aren't ideal, but the truth is, the right time never comes unless you make it. The longer you delay, the more you let fear or uncertainty control your life. Making tough decisions is not about being reckless or impulsive, it's about understanding the bigger picture. You have to be willing to take the risks necessary for progress, knowing that in the end, those risks could lead to tremendous rewards. It's about having the discipline to do what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. One of the hardest decisions you'll ever make is the decision to stay committed to your goals, even when everything around you is telling you to give up. But this is where you prove your character. The hard decisions are often the ones that test your resolve and your ability to stay focused on the bigger picture. You might face setbacks, disappointments, or even failures. But if you can make the hard decision to keep going, to stay the course, you'll build the resilience and strength to achieve what you set out to do. Don't be afraid to make those tough decisions. Every time you do, you grow stronger and more capable. And as you make these hard decisions, you'll find that life begins to reward you in ways you never expected. Because at the end of the day, the hard decisions are the ones that lead to the kind of success that lasts. They are the ones that build character, develop resilience, and ultimately create the life you've always dreamed of. Control your own destiny, because if you don't, someone else will. The truth is, your future isn't something that just happens to you, it's something you create every single day with the decisions you make and the actions you take. Life isn't about waiting for the right opportunities to come knocking on your door. It's about taking full responsibility for where you are, and more importantly, where you're going. You are the captain of your ship, and if you don't steer it, someone else will. So many people spend their lives drifting, letting the circumstances, other people, or even society dictate the direction they go in. They wait for permission, for things to fall into place, but that's not how success works. Success is intentional. It's about setting a clear course, making a commitment, and taking consistent, focused action. When you control your own destiny, you take full ownership of your life and where it's headed. This means that every decision you make matters. The choices you make today will shape your tomorrow. Whether it's your career, your health, your relationships, or your finances, your destiny is built by the steps you take right now. If you keep waiting for things to change on their own or for someone else to solve your problems, you'll be waiting forever. The power to create change lies within you. You must take control, not just of your actions, but also of your thoughts and beliefs. Your mindset determines your reality. Taking control of your destiny means getting serious about your goals and not letting anything stand in your way. It means deciding what you want and then doing whatever it takes to achieve it, regardless of the obstacles or setbacks that come along the way. When you have a clear vision of where you want to go, you stop making excuses, you stop procrastinating, and you start moving forward with purpose. The danger of not controlling your destiny is that you end up living someone else's life, not your own. You end up following the expectations of others, doing what you think you're supposed to do, instead of what truly aligns with your values and passions. You'll never find true fulfillment or success that way because you're not living on your terms. You're merely existing. When you take control of your destiny, you stop being a victim of circumstances. You stop blaming others for your struggles and start looking at every challenge as an opportunity for growth. You realize that the only limits that exist are the ones you impose on yourself. And when you stop limiting yourself, you open the door to endless possibilities. The people who achieve greatness are the ones who stop letting life just happen to them. They take action, they make decisions, and they go after what they want with relentless focus. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Don't wait for the economy to turn around or for people to believe in you. Your destiny is yours to shape, and it starts with a single, powerful decision to take control. And once you make that decision, everything else will follow. Take the reins of your life and steer it in the direction you want to go. Your future is created by the actions you take today, so don't let another day slip by without taking charge of your destiny. The life you want is waiting for you to claim it. Failure is a part of the journey, and if you're not experiencing failure along the way, you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. It's easy to look at successful people and assume they had it all figured out, that they never faced setbacks or challenges. But the reality is, every person who has achieved something meaningful has encountered failure at some point. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond to it. Failure isn't something to be afraid of, it's something to embrace. It's a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, trying new things, and taking risks. You'll never grow or reach your full potential if you stay within the safe confines of what you already know. It's through failure that you learn, adapt, and grow stronger. When you fail, you gain valuable insights into what doesn't work, which brings you one step closer to figuring out what does. The key is to understand that failure is not the end of the road. It's simply a part of the process, a lesson, not a life sentence. Every successful person has failed at something. But instead of giving up, they took the lessons from those failures, applied them, and kept moving forward. Failure doesn't define you, but how you respond to it does. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up and keep going. Too many people fear failure to the point that they avoid it altogether. They play it safe, never taking risks, never trying anything new. But by doing this, they also avoid the possibility of success. You can't achieve greatness by staying within your comfort zone. You can't build anything meaningful if you're unwilling to take risks, even if that means failing along the way. Every successful person has faced the prospect of failure, but they were willing to take the chance anyway. You'll find that failure teaches you resilience. It shows you what you're made of and helps you develop the mental toughness necessary to face challenges in the future. Every time you fail and get back up, you become stronger, more capable, and more confident. You learn that failure is not something to fear, but something to overcome. And each time you overcome failure, you build the character and discipline that success demands. Don't let the fear of failure hold you back from reaching your potential. Understand that failure is simply feedback. It's a signal that you're on the right track, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. Without failure, you'd have no way to know how far you've come or how much further you can go. It's a part of the journey, not something that should stop you in your tracks. If you can shift your perspective and see failure as a teacher rather than a roadblock, you'll find that it becomes one of your greatest allies on the path to success. In the end, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a necessary part of the process. It's the thing that separates those who want success from those who are willing to work for it. If you can learn to embrace failure, you'll discover that it's not something to fear, but something to learn from. And every time you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward, you'll be one step closer to reaching the success you're destined for. Strength is built in adversity, and that's where true growth happens. It's easy to feel strong when everything is going well, when life is smooth and all your plans are unfolding perfectly. But it's in the toughest times, when everything feels like it's falling apart, that your real strength is forged. Strength doesn't come from comfort, it comes from the challenges you face, the obstacles you overcome, and the decisions you make when life gets hard. Adversity has a way of testing you, of pushing you beyond your limits. When things are tough, it's easy to want to quit, to take the path of least resistance, or to throw in the towel. But the moment you choose to face the challenge, to stand tall and fight back, you begin to build the kind of strength that lasts. It's the struggle that shapes you, that turns you into the person who can handle more, do more, and achieve more. Without adversity, you remain stagnant, comfortable, but untested, never realizing your full potential. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to build resilience, to develop mental toughness, and to grow stronger. The hardships you encounter along the way aren't obstacles to success, they're stepping stones. Each time you face adversity and rise above it, you become more capable, more resourceful, and more prepared for the next challenge. It's not the easy wins that build your character, it's the times when you're forced to dig deep, to endure, and to keep going despite the odds. Adversity doesn't just build physical strength either. It builds emotional and mental strength. It forces you to deal with failure, disappointment, and setbacks, things that everyone faces no matter how successful they are. The difference between those who thrive and those who don't is how they respond to these setbacks. Do you let failure defeat you, or do you use it as fuel to come back stronger? Do you let adversity crush you, or do you rise above it and become more determined than ever? The choice is yours. The stronger you get, the bigger the challenges you can face. And the bigger the challenges you can face, the more opportunities you create for yourself. Strength doesn't just allow you to handle adversity, it enables you to seize the opportunities that come with it. Life is constantly presenting us with new obstacles, but the stronger you become, the more you realize that these obstacles are just another chance for growth, another chance to prove to yourself what you're capable of. When you face adversity with a positive mindset, when you embrace it as a tool for growth, you change your perspective on life itself. You no longer see challenges as roadblocks, but as lessons. You begin to understand that adversity is not something to avoid, but something to welcome. Each time you face difficulty and keep pushing forward, you're building a stronger version of yourself. In the end, strength is not about avoiding hardship. It's about rising to the occasion, standing firm in the face of adversity, and becoming better for having faced it. Every challenge you overcome is a victory, a testament to your resilience, and proof that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. So don't shy away from the hard times. Embrace them, because it's in adversity that your true strength is built.